19th, 2018. City Clerk, take the roll.
Councilman Keady?
Here.
Councilman Karpiak?
Here.
Councilman Topper?
Here.
Councilwoman Tazan?
Here.
Mayor Lincoln?
Here.
City Clerk's here. Solicitor Witt?
Here.
We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please stand for the prayer. Remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening, and I thank you for these that you have called into public service. And Lord, I thank you for their courage to answer that call. Lord, I pray that you'd give them wisdom tonight, that you'd give them discernment, and Lord, that you would just guide and direct their decisions. Lord, that you would anoint all that they do. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Martin. I appreciate it so much. And I see where you all are going to be doing the Fray Collinsville, so I appreciate y'all doing that again this year. All right. Okay. Well, we have only one speaker that signed up, unless Chuck, you're going to speak? No? Okay. Mr. Craig, you're up.
I write too hard for that.
What do you got? Now you got paid for.
Let's do this. I would like to hand you, I just have 4 questions and a comment. And my name is Barry Craig. I am the owner of Craig Appliance and Furniture, actually second generation owner. My parents started the business in 1958 in the beautiful town of Normalville and had a second store in Connellsville in 1966, and then we totally moved to our location in 1974 where we are. And so been in the city in business for 52 years. And actually here tonight also to represent Connellsville Area Community Ministries. I've been the board president for over 5 years. And I handed you some questions about this knockbox issue in my mind. And the first question I had is what precipitated the proposed ordinance? And my second question, you can answer them all together if you'd like. Do we have documentation to show how many businesses in the last 5 years had false fire alarms? Has there been a chronic abuse of that? I understand, probably 2 years ago when my dad was still living in my store, he thought he was calling me and called 911 and said his belly ached. So that's kind of an abuse. And so the police came and straightened out his belly. So I appreciate the police for that. But so I know things do happen. And but if there are chronic abusers of this proposed ordinance, why wouldn't we just target those abusers instead of the whole business district? Because it's a privilege to be in business in Connellsville, and the police force is tremendous. And with New Haven Hose covering the fire, it's wonderful. So you feel safe having a business in Connellsville. But the concern about this box is if it's broken into, robbed, who is responsible for robbing the business, the assets that are taken out, and is it the city, or if somebody decides to misuse the box? I mean, who will replace what is taken from the business? So I don't know. We want to, as we've tried to do in the last number of years, and Connellsville has come back, we try to encourage businesses to come into our city, and you have done a great job, this council, led by the mayor. He's done a wonderful job bringing in businesses. So we want to continue that. And the one thing I read in the Courier about this ordinance is it's subject to fines anywhere from $50 to $1,000. And I did some research. We can buy a coated box for $30 to $40 at a hardware store. So why is the cost $318? And as a business person that pays a business privilege tax, a mercantile tax, why is there another fee? I've never been able to get the answer to what that business privilege tax is used for, other than probably put into the general fund. So we pay a percentage of the sales up to the city for the privilege of being in business, and we do that on a quarterly basis. So those are just my questions and concerns about this ordinance. And But maybe there's more going on that's been habitual breakers of this ordinance and false alarms than I even know about. So I would just sort of like some explanation of that, and that's why I handed the questions to you, what I have.
Yeah, sure. Okay, first of all, I appreciate you coming down, and I understand everything. To really kind of go through, the fire chief comes to us with, different things that they would like to see. We went from full paid firemen to all volunteer firemen, which saved a lot of money here in the city of Connersville. The fire chief now is free, whereas that was a paid position for many, many years. So when they come, we entertain the ideas and we look into them. We run them by Tim. We kind of all get together, and when we first put it out there a couple months ago, we got zero feedback after the first meeting, after the first reading, and when we didn't get anybody come to the second meeting, and I think there's a little bit of a it's tough to get the information out nowadays. Everybody kind of gets their information from different areas, so we tried to get it out there, and we followed the proper procedures and everything, and we never heard anything from anybody. So, and I saw Downtown Connersville put something on their Facebook page after our first meeting that they were proposing this. So, when we don't hear anything back, we just kind of move forward. And unfortunately, it wasn't until after it was passed that the phone calls started, and everybody kind of, they read it in the Courier, word started going around. As far as false alarms, documentation, we do keep track of all our calls and everything. I don't have numbers to give you right here. Most of our automatic alarms are false alarms. Rarely is it an actual fire, So it's really hard to kind of put an exact number on it. There weren't any habitual. This was kind of more of a proactive idea at the time, because we had a lot of new construction going on in Connersville, and we kind of wanted to get something in place for the newer buildings that are coming in, that this is just how it is, and that way we can kind of let them know in advance whenever they're coming to Connersville that we have this Knox box ordinance. They're fairly popular. Greensburg, Hempfield Township, many places have them. As far as the actual box itself and the box you buy at a hardware store, they're very different. The key is specific to just the city of Connersville. So Knox box key from Uniontown Fire Department won't even open Connersville. So they're so specific. You have to buy them through this company. They're an extremely strong box. They're not the one you're going to get at your hardware store. They are nationwide on tens and tens and tens of thousands of buildings across this country. I'm glad, that some people have come forward, because it's better than not having the discussion at all. I wish, like I said, we could have had this discussion before the last meeting. And I've tried to meet, I know Vern's taken some calls and he passes them to me, and I try to go meet with as many business owners as I have been able to, as they've come up. I've called them or met them personally to discuss it, because I want it to be, discussed. I want to have these discussions and kind of make sure everybody's on the same page. My question is most people were kind of misinformed, I guess. Does your alarm for your fire alarm ring back to an automated system that'll call 911 immediately without you having to ask them to?
No.
Well, then you don't need it.
Then you're not subject to this.
We're not requiring businesses to get a monitor alarm. We're not requiring businesses to get all businesses to have these Knox boxes. Really, it's only businesses that have, so it's 2 a.m., you're not open, alarm goes off for whatever reason, if it automatically wakes us up, without somebody having to call 911, if it just sets off our pagers, our tones, and the fire department's asked to respond at that time without you having to do anything, then the ordinance affects you. If it just rings to your phone,
It does. It wakes me up at 2 o'clock.
Then it does. Then it doesn't affect you. And by then, we've had this discussion. By then, if you think something's, or if you want to just head down there yourself and investigate, or you think, okay, that's weird, I can still call 911. If you call 911, at least we know we have a key holder en route, and they're aware of the call. What we're trying to avoid is the 2 a.m. no key holder. Key holder lives in Greensburg, and we don't have any way into the building. So it's one of those, why have the fire department come if they can't get inside to actually investigate what's possibly set the alarm off?
And that was my other question is who has the alarm code? You have the key for the building, but if you don't have
We
the
have a
code-
key.
Nobody has it.
Nobody has alarm codes.
Doesn't turn it off.
If the alarm's off, if the fire alarm's going off, I do believe the burglar alarm won't, so if we come in, the alarm's already going off. If somebody steals the key and opens the door without the fire alarm going off, the police alarm's gonna go off. It's no different than just taking an axe and busting down the door. So, these have been in Connellsville since the early 80s, late 70s. And it's just one of those things we wanted to make sure some of these new buildings and stuff, if they were gonna have monitored alarms, we want to just try to kind of keep everybody, at least in the kind of the same system. If they're gonna have it, then we can have to be able to get into the building and do the proper investigation and re-secure the building as we leave, so we don't have to wait for somebody to come and make sure nobody's gonna, open the door.
I mean, my concern with Community Ministries was it's a nonprofit organization, so how can we afford to pay for this type of service? But again, you've answered that question.
Chief, you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to, when I brought this to city council, it was because we did have some instances of alarms going off and nobody showing up. And, we weigh out the liability issue of, do we clear the building without actually investigating, which leaves the liability of if something is going on and we left? Or do we do damage to enter the building so that we can investigate? Which liability is worse to New Haven Hose and worse to the city of Connellsville, especially in a more populated area where you might have either tenants living above the structure or you have exposures on either side where you could stop the small fire and now it becomes a large fire. But as Councilman Topper said, I would estimate, based on the 11 years that I've been chief, we're probably only talking about 15 or 20 buildings in the entire city, and most of them already have a Knox box. There are a handful that I would like to see get Knox boxes because we've had past issues with them. And as a matter of fact, I signed the paper today for the pastor up at Jefferson Apartments. They weren't even required to get it, and they got it. But it was just simply put into place to protect the city, protect the business owners, and protect the lives of the people in Connellsville. We didn't certainly want it to be anything that was controversial for New Haven Hose whatsoever. This has been in existence since the early 70s, this Knox box system where the boxes are on the wall. They're very secure. But as Councilman Topper said, really there were two main goals. New construction, because a lot of the new codes today, unlike in the past, a lot of the new codes today, new construction in commercial are required to have a fire alarm system. And so with that, we wanted to address the Knox box issue immediately. And the other thing was for the 2 or 3 buildings that currently have them that we're having a problem with, give us a little bit of teeth into trying to get that rectified before something bad happens.
Thank you very much for
Anything else?
straightening that out for me, and Christine, I hope you report that properly.
We'll cross our fingers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Barry.
Thank you so much for coming. So you're good, Chuck? I'm gonna move on. All right. And we're gonna move on to our city treasurer's report.
Well, since you don't have a report in your, do you have one? Well, that's good, because I don't have one.
Or mine?
I have a copy that I got, but it's not in the one they're handing out. Thank you. It's the same. Well, this is more in-depth than I had planned, and I guess I'm going to connect the microphone here. Everything is moving along smoothly right now. The real estate taxes are coming in, as are the school payments. So And being at full staff now, why things are starting to go a lot more smoothly than they were when we were shorthanded. So if you have any particular questions,
Does it look like we're on track to hit the marks?
I think
that
we're
looking at
on
our
track.
Current budget?
Yeah. And the business licenses, we are ready to go in
Registration.
December. So.
Registration. Business registration.
Thank you very much. I stand corrected. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Okay, your city controller, Bruce?
Mayor and City Council, if you look at some of your figures on the paper, it's different than what it actually really is in the bank. Our general fund is the same as on your paper, $740,989.68. Liquid fuels, I don't believe is on the report. Right now, it's at $68,000, but with the completion of Apple Street, we should be receiving $80,000 back into that fund here soon due to the completion of Apple Street.
Please, page one, yeah. It's showing on it.
And then the other one is, if you look, the recreation board is actually at $16,375 instead of what it's saying on here. So it should be on the fourth page, it's the rec board one.
What'd you say it should be?
$16,375. Because it's at $3,600 on the page, but it's $16,000 in the bank. We're just getting some things worked out on the new system and the new worker who's doing very well so far.
Well, at least now we know that there's a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Before we didn't know that.
So, yep. Any questions?
That's it.
Good.
Thank you, Bruce. All right. Do some correspondence. Parade Connellsville is going to have their event, Parade Connellsville, on October 12th. They want to use for that Veterans Plaza. So this is going to be a 2-day event? Was it 1 day last year?
It's one day. I think they're doing worship the night before.
On that Friday night?
And then the
And then
actual
Saturday.
walk is on Saturday.
Okay, I was going to say, because I think last year they just had we had the one.
I think that's correct.
Okay. Hey, we'll take all the
Yeah.
pray we can get. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Connellsville to grant permission to the Connellsville Ministerial Association to use Veterans Plaza on Friday, October 12th, 2018 from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. and Saturday, October 13th, 2018 from 9 a.m. until 12 noon for their Parade Connellsville gathering. I so move. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there, Pastor, I'm sorry, I have these questions. Last year we actually blocked off here in front of the plaza. Do you all expect a large crowd like last year? And is that something that they want us to do?
I'm not sure. I can ask.
If you talk to, I don't know if Pastor Brian is going to one who's, if you talk to him and they feel that they do, please tell them to get in touch with our city clerk. And
Okay.
because that'd be an easy thing to, I mean, Saturday morning is not going to be that much traffic over here, but it'd be nice to
Okay.
keep it safe.
Yep.
Thank you. City clerk, take the vote.
Councilman Carpio.
Yes.
Councilman Topper.
Yes.
Councilwoman Tazan.
Yes.
Councilman Keady.
Yes.
Mayor Lincoln.
Yes. All right. IC Church is having their 150th anniversary party on September 22nd, and they're asking to close in Prospect Street to Cottage Avenue by their church. Be resolved by the City Council, City of Connellsville, to close alley from Prospect Street to Cottage Avenue near the IC Church lot for their Oktoberfest celebration on Saturday, September 22nd, 2018, from 12 noon till 8 p.m., pending review and approval of Police Chief and Fire Chief. So move. Is there a second?
Second.
And this is open to the public. This is just not a church event. I don't think there's a charge to get in. Can't remember now.
Free.
Is it free? Oh yeah. So be a good time to come down, hang out at IC Church. It's going to be a nice, fun celebration that day for their 150th anniversary. City Clerk, take a vote.
Councilman Keating.
Yes.
Councilwoman Tazan.
Yes.
Councilman Topper.
Yes.
Councilman Kurbjak.
Yes.
Mayor Lincoln.
Yes. Okay. I don't know what this means. Is that a mistake?
No, you know what, that's actually just a correspondence. There should be in your packet a letter stating that for next year's EMRS that you were notified for budgetary reasons that we will owe that amount next year on our non-uniform pension.
That's it right there?
Yes. For non-uniform. Yeah, this is actually the first time we've ever paid.
Also, we've never paid this before.
No.
So now we're paying.
Yes, now we're paying.
I love the state. The state's awesome. They're so awesome. They do so much for us, don't they? Only municipalities here in the good old state. Everything, man, just pass the buck down the road. Okay, it's approved the minutes of the August meeting. I don't care if that, Mike. I don't care. Cut everything, and they don't